Now remember that every achievement that I make, every achievement that is credited to me, everything that I achieve has to be achieved with the assistance of other people. Remember that. You see, we don't think about that. We are so darn conceited and self-centered that we don't stop to think long enough about the role that others play in our lives. We take them for granted. You drive the bus, you take the bus driver for granted. Unless he crashes the bus, then he becomes important as the man who crashed the bus. But the man who drives the bus without an accident, we don't know his name, we couldn't care less. He's not important. But how would we get to work if there was no bus driver? Okay, so you drive your own car, all right. So what about the mechanic? And I can go on and on and on. As I was talking to some students a few years ago, and I said to them, look, I believe every job is important. And when I'm doing seminars, when I'm doing my corporate seminars, I insist that the president be there, or whoever is the top person, and I insist that the ancillary staff be also be there. I insist that the person who makes the coffee be there. Yes. You know how much power that coffee lady has? It's not reflected in our salary. You know how important she is to the fortunes of that great company for which you are the CEO? You anger her enough. Disrespect her enough. Disregard her enough. And you'll be a fool if you then went and drank the coffee that she made. You must really believe that everybody is important. Let's see what the Word of God says. The Word of God says that we're all what? One what? Body. And there is no part. Well, there are only two parts. The head and the body. Clear distinction. But once you come, and the head is Jesus Christ. Once you come down to the body, there's no distinction. Well, there's distinction, but all are important. And Paul goes out of his way to emphasize that they're all important. The hand can't do the footwork, and the foot can't do the handwork. And if the whole body was a hand, then it can't walk. If the whole body was an ears, it can't talk. If the whole body was a mouth, it can't smell. But you have the nose and the mouth and the ear and every part doing its own thing? No. Following the instruction of the head so that the body can move. Those of you who are medically inclined will tell me how many millions and thousands and hundreds of thousands of muscles and nerve endings and all those things are involved in every action that you do. When the brain sends a signal and the signal goes to the nerve, I'm not medically inclined, but trust me, I have an idea. It's the working together of the body. And then God goes one step further. God says, all right, I know that because of your culture, in your mind, you think that some parts of the body are not as important or not as presentable as other parts. So listen to me now, says God. And he didn't name the parts, thank God. But he said the parts that you consider to be uncomely. Now, what you consider uncomely might not be what I consider uncomely. But whatever part you consider to be uncomely, God says, those parts I give special honor to. Not to make them more important, but to balance the thing. To reiterate the point that all members of the body are equally important in the sight of God. So even when I talk about conquering, it is not to subdue. It's not manipulation to the point of exploitation. But I am responsible for getting the agenda that God has given to me. I am responsible for having that accomplished. So I must first want to conquer. It's your God-given right to conquer poverty, to conquer fear, to conquer any debilitating or negative thing in your life. You must take charge of your life, and you must decide to conquer. The student in school must want to conquer that subject. I don't care what the subject is. Conquer it, man. Love it to death. Sorry, love it to life. Conquer it. You must want to conquer. Well, are obstacles just waiting for us to blow them down? Are problems in our life just waiting to disappear? Because we say, problem, be gone. Poverty, be gone. No. It requires a lot more than that. And so I'm going to share with you, and I'm going to read this because for some reason or the other, it's one of my teachings that is probably most popular, and I certainly think most inspired, but for some reason or the other, I've never committed it to heart. I mean, to memory, sorry. So I'll read it. In one of my books, You've Got All It Takes to Succeed, I talk about desire. The word for desire is the same word for lust. And we've been taught that lust is bad. Well, I don't know about that. I don't know where you got that teaching from. Lust is not only good, lust is vital. It's necessary if you were to achieve what you want to achieve. Of course, we tend to associate lust with something that, or things that are wrong or things that are bad. Well, that's your problem. The word lust never said it was bad. The word lust is a word that was used by Jesus when he said with great desire. That's, yes, that same consuming desire that makes a man leave the great cities of North Carolina and go to Argentina. Whatever. I see you're not a follower of American history, but that's okay. I am. I have to be. But whatever it is that makes men and women do those crazy things because of sexual motivations, and we associate with lust. Jesus Christ said, with that same passion, I desire to eat the Passover with you. So let's get that clear. There's nothing wrong with lust. It all depends on what it is that you lust after. So I have given a definition or a description of the concept of desire. And this is what it says. To desire something is not merely to want it. To desire something is not merely to wish you had it. To desire something is not merely to like the idea of having that thing. To desire something is to become totally and completely obsessed with the thought of having that thing to the point that you are convinced that it is attainable, and to the point that you believe that you will attain it. And as a result, you consciously and subconsciously unleash all your mental, physical, social, emotional, and spiritual faculties and resources in the relentless pursuit of the materialization of the object of your desire. Desire, therefore, is not a passive word. Desire is not a feeble expression of interest. Rather, desire is the starting point of all achievement and the one ingredient without which our lives will forever be marred by the morass of mediocrity.